Good afternoon, everybody. It's me, Jessica, your health fitness program manager from McLean. And I'm here today to guide you through an awesome mind-body connection where we're going to focus on finding relaxation in our neck, again in our chest and our upper back. Today's focus is really helping to relieve that text neck that I know so many of us, definitely me, have been experiencing more the past couple of months by just doing our best to stay connected with people. So I want to thank you guys for coming to today's class. Encourage you to put on some of your favorite relaxing music, maybe light a candle or some incense. Feel free to bring a block or a towel, especially to help you relax in Sukhasana Easy Pose, which will be the position we get started with today. Class will start in 3 minutes at 11:15. Please enjoy this alternate view while I am trying to do something about how bright it is outside. Great. If you're here early, feel free to lay down on your back and just get started in Savasana. Definitely cool to make that time for yourself and come into your breath even before class starts. I know, I love to arrive to the studio early to get my practice on. Where am I posting this video? Great, so 2 more minutes before we get started. Hi everybody, happy Friday. Hello. Hello. Would you like a peanut? Would you like multiple peanuts? Thank you. Thank you. Yay. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to today's practice. We're going to get started in a seated position on the floor in Sukhasana. Please come into the seated position that feels best for you. I find it most comfortable to be in a modified version of half lotus. Taking a very deep cross is accessible and comfortable for me. However, taking this super deep cross might not be what works best for your body, so feel free to have one foot in front of the other. Feel free to have your legs open a little bit wider. If that still is uncomfortable for you, think about finding something that you can sit up on. Finding that little bit of lift makes it so much easier to relax and release those knees down towards the floor, working to create like a slope so that if you're skiing on your thighs, you'll be going right downhill. All right, so we'll just take a couple minutes here. Feel free to shift around as much as you need to as you first start to come into your practice, to find that grounding of your sit bones down towards the floor. Just work to find some relaxation in your mind and your body. Start from your head to your toe, that internal scan, to just notice where you might be harboring a little bit more tension that you don't necessarily need. Start to come into your breath. Feel free to close your eyes. Today we're really going to focus again on the neck, on the chest, on the upper back, shoulders area. And I want you to envision as much as possible the idea that with every inhale, you are breathing in extra space between your vertebrae. And with every exhale, your shoulders are just melting towards the mat, elbows pulling away from you. So the goal is to create as much length through the crown of our head, space in our spine, length as we possibly can, as these are things that will help us forever, just to feel a little bit lighter and just to take out that crunch that we get from turning our heads down and looking at our phones all the time. Start to come into that nice, relaxed, slow breath. Yoga breathing is typically in through your nose, and if you can, out through your nose. If that feels uncomfortable for you, just go for in through the nose, taking the time to just cool your breath down before it hits your lungs, and then you can always exhale out through your mouth. Think about how long can you make your breath. We're just working to change our mental channel, just be a little bit different from the rest of the day. So frequently we just take those shallow upper chest breaths. So really focus on finding a breath so deep you feel your diaphragm expand, not just within your lungs. And take a moment in that fullness, in that deep breath, hold your body and belly with your lungs full, and then as slow as you can, once again, really working to relax and release shoulders away from ears. Enjoy your exhale. See if you can make your exhale longer than your inhale. The goal is for 2 seconds longer on your exhale. So maybe a 4-second inhale. Take a moment with those lungs full, and then slower exhale. Start to notice if your shoulders do continue to creep up towards your ears. Just taking in that awareness of our bodies today. Shoulders creeping up towards your ears on an inhale is a big sign of stress. And just focusing back in on that breath can help to bring that physical and mental relaxation. Take 2 more breaths right here. All right, and then feel free to just give yourself any gentle movements that feel good. Just swaying a little side to side, applying pressure into my hands and giving myself a little bit of a shoulder circle is really just helping to relax and release my mid-back. All right, let's come on back into our stillness. Do your best to stack your head on top of your heart. Notice if you're really leaning forward or if you're rounding back. And once again, work to find that length through the crown of your head. Even go ahead and draw your shoulders towards each other, shoulder blades kissing towards each other. In a little bit, we'll squeeze them so hard, the idea of squeezing a pencil between them. But for now, go ahead and just bring your fingertips up towards your shoulders, gently resting your fingertips on your shoulders. You're going to go ahead and draw your elbows towards each other. This time you are going to enhance that rounding, especially of that upper back. So think about pulling your lower rib in, rib cage knitting towards each other, belly button coming back towards your spine. If you want, you can even gently drop your chin towards your chest. Take a couple of breaths right here. Elbows kissing towards each other. On your inhale, open up, lift your chest, stretch those elbows up towards the ceiling, fingertips still kissing shoulders. Really focus on that stretch up, find that lift from your waist, not just shoulders creeping up towards your ears to find the stretch, so shoulders are staying down as low, still working to squeeze those shoulder blades together. Take another nice deep inhale and start to draw those elbows back so your chest will come open. See if you can still knit that rib cage together. Abdominal engagement. Squeeze your shoulder blades towards each other. Big squeeze in the upper back. This time like you are pinching a pencil between your shoulders. And let's take it down towards the floor. Take a deep inhale. Find your length. Exhale. Stretch those elbows down towards the floor. From here, you can even give yourself a couple just gentle head nods. Still just warming our bodies up. Make sure that stomach is still sucked in, belly is engaged here. Maybe make those head nods a little bit deeper. Awesome. Find a comfortable spot for your neck, and we're going to go through the same motions just a little bit faster. Let's do it 4 times. So start to inhale, pull those elbows in towards each other, finding that rounding belly pulled in nice and tight, rib cage knits. Stretch up towards the ceiling. Keep that circle going, pull back, squeeze shoulder blades together, belly tight, still keep that rib cage together. Elbows down towards the floor. 3 more times, bring it forward. A little bit of rounding, lower rib comes closer towards your hip. Inhale, lift up. Really focus on finding that length, opening up your chest, squeeze those shoulder blades together. Beautiful kiss. And then down towards the floor. Last 2 times, that rounding. Pulling the shoulder blades apart to begin with. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, squeeze them together. Keep that chest sternum lifted. And then down towards the floor. Last one. Still focusing on your breath. Make sure you're not completely holding your breath, as slow as it can be. As we start to come down this time, elbows come down towards the floor, fingertips release from the floor. As you bring your fingertips down, we're going to point them in the direction of our thighs. I'm going to release myself off of my seat. It's a little high for me. Awesome. So with your fingers on the floor, maybe you can get your whole hand palm to the floor. Maybe it's just the tips of your fingers. We're just going to work right here for a moment to really open up, lift that chest. Squeeze those shoulder blades together even tighter. Hold on to that pencil. You can inhale, lift your chin up towards the ceiling. Find a big stretch on the front of the throat, like you're really trying to touch your chin towards the ceiling. One more deep inhale, squeeze those shoulder blades together, lift your chest, and exhale, gently release. Come on back into Sukhasana. All right, from here we're going to bring our hands, palms together in Namaskar. Just take a moment with your thumbs touching on your sternum to press your hands, palms together. Bring your elbows in line with your wrists if you can, a little bit more activation of our back. Then we're going to interlace our fingers. Inhale, stretch them up towards the ceiling. Stretch through your knuckles, still shoulder blades seated down and back. So length from your waist, not just shoulders up towards your ears. Bring those hands back, open your chest, find the stretch that feels good. Take one more deep inhale. We're going to open our hands up. Fingers are still interlaced. We're just going to bring them to the back of our head. No pressure on the back of our heads. You can release your thumbs from the grip and give yourself a nice massage on the sides of your neck. While doing so, still keep that belly engaged. Keep that sit bones grounded towards the floor. If your back is hurting, finding a slight tilt forward with the hips can help you to still find some length in your spine. Just finding what feels good for you. Oof. Feels so good. All right, we're gonna kind of do a little bit of a cobra right here. So I want you to draw your elbows back. as much as feels good for you. Once again, focus on squeezing those shoulder blades together. Find the draw of your elbows from the squeeze of your shoulders. Knit that rib cage back together. Pull your belly in nice and tight. And lift your chest sternum up towards the ceiling. Keep focusing on the sucking in of your stomach, the engagement of your ribs towards each other, shoulders towards each other, elbows back. Take one more deep inhale. And exhale, we're gonna just bring it forward like you would for cat. Make sure you're still not putting a lot of pressure of your hands, palms, or fingers on the back of your neck. If you find that you are, you can always bring your fingers to kiss on your shoulders again. Once again, finding a bit of a kiss of the elbows towards each other, but focusing on the stretch forward. Nice work. Let's lift ourselves up, open it up nice and wide once again in Cobra. Maybe find some gentle movement, stretching one elbow up and then the other, starting to bring a little bit more movement into our neck, supported by our hands. Knit that rib cage together, pull your belly in nice and tight. Make sure you're not letting that lower belly relax and stick out. Stay supported. Keeping that stomach sucked in is going to help keep your back feeling good. Come on back in through the center one more time. Tuck your chin towards your chest. Find that rounding. Really focus on pulling your shoulder blades apart from each other right now, to create a big stretch in your upper back, not just crunching down right here into your lower back. So still some lift, as if your mid back has a pole that has a string that's attached to the ceiling. Awesome. Go ahead, lift yourself up. We're going to just release with a nice arm stretch, whatever feels good for you. Feel free to start to get your neck involved again. Maybe gently turning your head side to side as you release your fingertips down to the floor. All right. Keeping these fingertips down on the floor, you can start to walk them away slightly to find a little bit more openness, lift of the chest. We're going to go ahead and drop the right ear towards the right shoulder. Big stretch happening all over the left side of your neck. And find what feels good for you. Maybe you want to tuck your chin a little bit more. Find the stretch more towards the back of your neck, ear towards the shoulders, the side of the neck. Turning your chin up towards the ceiling is going to bring the stretch a little bit more up behind your ear front. So find what feels good. Once you do, hang out right there. We're going to lift our left fingertips off the floor and press through the palm of your hand as your fingers flex towards your face. Really find that press through the palm of your hand as if you're pushing a table or chair away, not just a stretch through your fingers. And you might even notice how that engages your shoulder blades towards each other and down again, finding that extra press. Find that engagement of your belly. If you want more of a stretch on the left side of your neck, you can inhale your right arm up towards the ceiling, bend at the elbow. Allow your fingertips to gently drape by your ear and allow your right elbow to hang heavy through the floor. Feel free to close your eyes, relax your mind, come back to your breath. Let's take 2 more breaths right here. If you lifted your right hand up, relax and release your right hand back down. Relax your left hand back down towards the floor. Take a moment, tuck your chin towards your chest. Still squeeze those shoulder blades towards each other. Still keeping those lower abs engaged. And gently begin to roll your ear towards the opposite shoulder. You can take a moment right here with your fingers still on the floor to just experiment with which part of the stretch feels best for you. Chin towards your chest, ear towards the shoulder, chin towards the ceiling. Find your stretch for your body today. Ground those sit bones to the floor. Pull your belly in, shoulders relaxed and released away from ears, engaged together behind you and seated down your spine. Lift your right hand up. Flex your fingers back towards your face and really press through that hand palm. Right shoulder should pull gently away from ears, maybe even starting to feel a stretch a little bit on your the back of your right arm. If you want to feel more of a stretch along the right side of your neck, inhale your left arm up towards the ceiling. Bend at the elbow, place your fingertips by the top of your ear. And gently allow your left elbow to hang heavy towards the floor. Keep stretching through your right hand. Make sure you didn't collapse forward. So pull that belly in tight, release your shoulders from your ears, engage that back, lift your chest. Take 2 more breaths right here. And if you brought your left hand up to your head, stretch it up, relax it down, release your right hand fingertips to the floor, and once again, go ahead, bring your chin towards your chest. Inhale, stretch your eyes, nose, chin up towards the ceiling. Exhale, tuck your chin to your chest. Still pressing fingertips down to the floor. Inhale, lift up. To help you find that lift, and exhale, come on down. On your next inhale, just lift your head up to neutral. Great, you can keep your fingers on the floor or bring your hands towards your knees for a little bit more grounding and support. From here, we're going to give ourselves some gentle little circles of the neck. So starting with your nose, go ahead and just start to make a little circle about the size of a penny. Each time you go around, make your circle a little bit larger, as large as feels good for you today. Make sure you're still breathing. Finding your biggest circle right here. Go around 3 more times. Still work to keep those shoulder blades kissing towards each other and that belly engaged, protecting your back while we're here on the floor. After your 3rd time around, go ahead, change direction of your circles. This time starting off a little bit slower, really big. And take your time in working your circle back to a small direction. Make a couple big circles before you head there. If you feel any points that are really sticky and tense, feel free to take a moment just hanging out. Breathing into the tension, imagining that your exhale is truly just breaking it up. All right, working that circle smaller and smaller. Coming towards the idea of finding your last 3 times around before we're back to just our stillness right here. Take a moment in the stillness, just notice if your body's tilting in any direction, and once again, find that length through the crown of your head, open chest, maybe elbows draw towards the back of the room. Keeping this nice big lift that we created right here, bring your fingertips in front of you and come forward with your lift. This is also really helpful to keep this lifted engagement instead of finding rounding if you have any lower back issues. If you don't have any lower back issues, feel free to maybe bring your chest towards your shins and stretch your hands palms forward as much as feels good for you. Make sure those sit bones still stay grounded on the floor, but you can press into your fingertips to help you find that grounding, or press into your hand palm if you can. Allow your head to relax below your arms unless you're staying lifted to be smart for your body today. Go ahead, find the biggest forward fold that feels good for you. Think about separating those shoulder blades, trying to work the stretch towards your mid, even your lower back right now. Take your time, slowly come towards the right side as much as you can while still keeping that left sit bone grounded. You can even place one hand on top of each other to really press into the floor to find as much length, as deep of a stretch as feels right for you today. Take one more big breath right here. And then walk yourself back through center. Take your time as you come all the way over towards the left side. Start to press your hands into the floor to really press your right glute into the mat. Find a deep stretch from your right hip all the way up through your shoulder. And then come back to that relaxed, slow breath. One more deep inhale. On your exhale, walk yourself back to center. Go ahead, lift yourself up. We're going to bring our hands, palms to the center of our chest. One more seated position. Excuse me. Go ahead, bring your thumbs to your third eye, your drishti, that spot right between your eyebrows. And once more, find a little more rounding in your upper back, stretching those elbows forward, pulling that belly in nice and tight, belly button back towards spine, rib cage coming closer towards your hips. Gonna open it up once more. Inhale, stretch up towards the ceiling. Exhale, open your elbows out nice and wide, keeping the fingertips right by your drishti. As your elbows stretch all the way back, knit your rib cage together, pull your belly in, keep your sit bones grounded, and trace your thumbs along your eyebrows out towards your ears till you start to come off your head. And once more, open your hands. Find the stretch that feels good for you. Find the twists of your neck. Now that our neck is a little bit more warmed up, that feel right. Start to rain your fingertips down towards the floor. Nice work. We're going to go ahead and come up into tabletop next. Pardon me while I hike my pants all the way up to the moon. You know what? I'm going to face this direction. A little less staring at my butt. I hope that you feel like that was a thank you moment and not. All right, so let's start with our right hand. It's going to lift up off the floor. We're going to go for a nice shoulder stretch. So as we're right here in tabletop, before we make any movements, line your left hand up with the side of the mat. Just work to find that nice engagement in your back, pressing your hands, palms, especially the fleshy part between your thumb and your pointer finger, down into the mat, hips stacked, not on top of your knees, hands, palms underneath of your shoulders. Keeping your left hand grounded, inhale your right arm up towards the ceiling, stretch your eyes up towards the ceiling, another stretch of your neck, and exhale, bring your right hand underneath of your body, palm facing up, bring your right ear towards the mat. You can either stay active in this big stretch that's happening on your mid-back by keeping your left elbow stacked on top of your hand palm, or to bring the stretch more in towards your shoulder, go ahead and walk your right hand fingertips forward. You can even tent your fingertips onto the floor, and then you can melt your chest towards the mat. A little bit more of an upper body shoulder stretch as opposed to keeping your hand close by your shoulder with that elbow stacked, which brings the stretch towards your mid-back. Find what feels good for you today. Let's take 3 more breaths right here. Keep finding the activation of pressing something into the floor, either the hand palm if it's underneath of your elbow or the pads of your fingers as you work to relax your chest to the mat. And then change. If you walked your hand out, take the time to bring it back in. And then gently press into your knees, pull your belly in as you lift yourself up. Right hand stretches up towards the ceiling. Open up, lift up, separate those hands as much as you can, shoulders away from ears, and relax and release right hand down towards the floor. Just going for a little extra stretch and a twist today as we come out of shoulder stretch. If you missed it on this side, don't worry, you get an opportunity to try it on the next. So once again, work to get your hands palms, stack underneath of your shoulders, maybe reposition your knees if you need to, pull that belly in nice and tight, ground your right hand. As you inhale, bring your left hand up towards the ceiling, eyes follow fingertips. No rush, take your time as you dive that left hand underneath of your body, palm facing up towards the ceiling, and bring that left shoulder, left ear down towards the mat. Once again, you can keep your right elbow stacked on top of your right hand palm. If you really press into the floor, you'll feel that big stretch on the back of your ribs. If you want more of a stretch in your upper back shoulders, simply walk those hands forward. And then tent your fingertips like your hands are like a spider, and you can even bring your belly closer towards your thighs as you press your thumbs and finger pads into the floor to bring the stretch more towards your shoulders. Take 2 more breaths in whatever posture you decided felt best for you today. And then if you have that right hand extended, start to walk your right hand back in. Ground it down into the mat, press into it. Feel that stretch in your mid-back. Press into your knees, pull your belly tight. Inhale your left arm up. Remember, we're really going to try and touch the ceiling. So while touching the ceiling, also open up your chest, squeeze shoulder blades together. Press right hand into the floor. Open up a little bit of an extra twist. Maybe your hand even comes towards the back wall. And change, relax, and release that left hand down towards the floor. Next, we're going to come into puppy pose. So go ahead, start to walk your hands gently in front of you, bringing your chest a little closer towards the mat. We're not going to go too deep to begin with, just chest towards the mat, starting to pull those shoulder blades away from you. You can hang out right here, nice and lifted in your puppy pose, just kind of like a down dog on our knees, so you can still think about those inner thighs starting to spiral towards the back of the room, belly coming a little bit towards the thighs. If you want more of a stretch, you can even gently start to walk your knees back to bring that chest a little closer towards the floor. Do your best to keep those hips stacked on top of your knees though. Take 2 more breaths. And then we're going to pull ourselves forward, keep those knees down on the mat, bringing our thighs, our belly to the floor, bending your elbows. We find ourselves right here in Sphinx. You can walk your hands in a little bit closer, get those elbows ground down towards the mat. You can separate your feet as much as feels good for you today. If you'd like to be passive, in your Sphinx pose, you can keep your chin tucked towards your chest, still pressing those elbows in towards the floor. We're going for a stretch to be happening at that lower back. So the more that you really press your belly button, pubic mound down towards the floor, squeeze those shoulder blades together and lift your chest, the more that you're going to feel the stretch towards your mid-back and slowly coming up your spine, especially if you lift your chin up like a Sphinx and bring your chin neutral towards the floor. Still try to keep your shoulders away from your ears. Take 2 breaths right here. All right, gently relax and release your chest down towards the mat. You can make a little pillow with your hands palms. Place your forehead on your pillow, bend your knees, and just windshield wipe your legs right and left. Relieve some tension in your lower back. We're going to relieve it big time with a little bit of a shoulder stretch / a spine twist on our bellies. So stretch your arms out into a big T, like terrific as you are. We're going to go ahead and start with our right leg. Bend your right knee. Sole of the right foot faces up towards the ceiling. Press into your right hand palm as you roll over on towards your left hip. Bring your right toes down towards the floor. And you can make this stretch as deep as you want. We're working to get a little more into our left shoulders, but you can keep this more of a spine twist if you want by keeping your right shoulder towards the mat and just tapping your right toe behind you, maybe even open your leg. If you would like to get a little bit more of a shoulder stretch, roll more on towards the left side of your body. Do your best to keep your left hand palm in line with your left shoulder. The more that you open yourself up, the more you're going to feel that big stretch in your left shoulder. So remember, you have the option of keeping that right hand down on the floor, enjoying the spine twist, or rolling more towards your left side, even turning your chin towards that right shoulder to get more into your left side shoulder stretch. And change. Gently roll yourself back onto your belly. Relax your right leg down towards the floor. Go ahead, bend your left leg, sole of the foot faces up towards the ceiling. Press into your left hand palm as you roll over towards your left hip. Remember, you can keep your left shoulder on the floor if you just want to stay here in your spine twist. If you want to get more into that shoulder stretch, continue to roll over onto the right side, lifting that left knee up towards the ceiling. Oh my gosh. Wow. You can even reach your left hand behind you. To feel it even more in that right shoulder, just find what feels good. Work to bring those shoulders away from your ears. Continuing to find as much length through the crown of your head as you can. 2 more breaths. And slowly, gently roll back over onto your belly. Nice. We're gonna do a little baby cobra, some baby cobra waves right here. So go ahead, bring your hands, palms in line with your chest. I like to think about having your thumbs in line with your the ideal teenage nipples, what I like to say in Bikram. I know, pardon me. Fingertips are in line with the tops of your shoulders. And you can open your feet a little bit wider, the width of your mat. Go ahead, press the tops of the feet into the floor so that your kneecaps gently lift up, your thighs are engaged. We're gonna press into your hands, palms very gently, like barely any pressure into your hands, palms. Use your spine strength to lift yourself up and then gently lower yourself down. Chin tucked towards chest. Lift yourself up, eyes, nose, chin up towards the ceiling. Exhale, lower yourself down. Chin leads on the way down. Helps if you draw those shoulders away from your ears to begin with so your glutes can be engaged. The tops of your feet are still pressed down. Inhale, lift yourself up. Elbows stretch towards hips. Exhale, lower yourself down. 2 more times. Inhale, lift. Back engaged. Glutes squeeze. Look up. Exhale, lower. Last time. Inhale, lift. Eyes up, nose up, chin up. Exhale, lower. Beautiful. We're going to press into our hands, palms, tuck your toes under. We're going to lift up for just a moment in plank. Let's spend 30 seconds right here in plank. Pull those shoulders away from your ears. Do your best to stack your heels on top of the balls of your feet. So notice if your heels are stretching towards the back of the mat. Take a moment, take that correction. Shoulders away from ears, back engaged, belly tight. Take 1 more nice deep inhale as you send your hips up towards the ceiling. You can bend your knees as much as you need to, maybe even walk your feet in a little bit. Bring your belly towards your thighs. Hold on a sec while I tuck in my shirt for a quick little down dog. Just a teeny little down dog, I promise. You can always walk the dog, bend one knee and then the other, maybe shake your hips a little bit left and right. Beautiful. Release back down towards the floor, bend your knees. We're going to go ahead and come back down onto our bellies once more. A little bit more activation of the back. Next up is dart. So go ahead, kiss your mouth down towards your mat, towel, floor, whatever you have. And we're going to interlace our fingers behind our backs as best that you can. You can always separate your feet a little bit wider. And before we stretch our knuckles down towards our heels, once again, press the tops of the feet into the floor. Feel your kneecaps lift up. Squeeze your glute, press your pubic mound to the floor, and make sure that your lower half is as engaged as possible. Pull your shoulders away from your ears, so shoulder blades together. Elbows might already lift up. Get ready to lift everything up as you take a deep inhale. Stretch those knuckles down towards your heels, reaching towards the bottom of your glutes. If you can bring your hands, palms together, great. Eyes still focused down on the floor. Find that length through the crown of your head for 3, 2, 1. Gently lower yourself down. Then take your time. Find an extra bend of your elbows. Helps to release your fingertips. We're going to press ourselves back and come on into child's pose. Sending your hips back towards your heels. Stretch those arms forward as much as feels good for your shoulders. Remember, you can always take a generous bend of your elbows as needed. Just a couple breaths right here, right now in child's pose. Getting some nice back bends here at the end. Go ahead, walk yourself forward once more, coming back onto our bellies. Next step, we're going to go for bow. So once again, mouth kissing down on your towel. Go ahead, bend your knees and reach back and grab hold of your feet from the outside. So your fingers are touching by your big toe. Walk your knees together so your knees are about 6 inches apart and your heels are about 6 inches apart. Go ahead, squeeze your glutes again and press your pubic mound down on the floor. So already, once again, your kneecaps start to lift up off of the floor. Pull your shoulders away from your ears, shoulder blades squeeze together and down your back. Go ahead, take a nice deep inhale as you lift yourself up. Knees trace a line up the wall, toes stretch up towards the ceiling. Eyes, nose, chin, look up towards the ceiling. Look up for your toes. We're gonna take one more deep inhale, look up, kick up, lift up, squeeze your glutes, and exhale, slowly lower yourself down. Ooh, release your heels from your hands. Go ahead, bring your hands, palms back underneath of your chest. Press yourself up. And walk your knees in. Lift yourself up. We're going to give ourselves a quick little camel. So bring your hands, palms to your lower back. I like to think that you're sliding your hands, palms into the nice high pocket of some mom jeans. They're popular again. So hopefully you know what I mean. Basically, your hands are on your most tender spot of your lower back. So right below where your lower rib is, fingers stretching down towards the floor. Right here. Keep about 6 inches between your feet. Squeeze your glutes, press your hips forward, and keep your hips stacked on top of your knees. Open your chest, draw your shoulder blades and elbows towards each other, stretch your eyes, nose, chin up towards the ceiling, and start to look towards the back of the room. Keep squeezing your glutes, pushing those hips forward, and keep your hands on your lower back as you find your deepest back bend. Hang out right here for a second. If you can see the back wall or you can see your mat, you can work to reach your hands down to grab hold of your feet, but you don't want to sacrifice your hips coming away from stacking on top of your knees. So push those hips forward. If you still have your hands on your lower back and you're not reaching all the way down, even if you're not all the way back, just work to stretch your chin up towards the ceiling. Work to squeeze those elbows towards each other and change. Bring your hands back to your lower back. Support yourself. Lift yourself up. Take a moment. Sit your hips down on your heels. Grounding back into the mat. All right, we're gonna go ahead and come on back onto our bums. So shift the weight, come over onto your glutes, send your legs out in front of you. Take your time, we're gonna lay down on our backs. You can draw your knees in towards your chest as you come down there. Send the soles of your feet up towards the ceiling. Take just a minute right here in happy baby. You can either grab hold of your toes or the outside or insides of your feet, of your ankles, maybe of your pants, maybe just of the back of your knees. Feel free to be the happiest baby that you'd like to be today. So maybe a little gentle rocking side to side, giving yourself one more nice little massage of that back. Relax those shoulders towards the mat. Go ahead, bring your feet together. Find a little bit of support as you relax and release them back to the floor. Kick your legs out in front of you. Relax your arms down by your side. As you come on into your final Savasana. Final Savasana, feel free to open your arms, open your legs as wide as you want. If your back is still feeling really tired, think about bending your knees, tenting them towards each other to take some of the pressure out of your lower back. And take this time to come back towards your breath. Our class might be almost over for today, but it's still a beautiful time to set an intention for yourself. What's your intention as we go into the rest of the day? The rest of the week, the weekend. Remember that this is just your yoga practice, and I and these awesome videos are here for you anytime that you need it. The real yoga comes into play when we're off of the mat and we use our breath and create the space within ourselves to truly honor our mind, body, and soul. Feel free to stay here in this final Savasana for as long as it honors you. If you'd like to close class together, keep those eyes closed. Keep the intention inwards towards yourself, towards your awesome practice as we make our way up to a seated position. When you get there, go ahead, bring your hands palms to the center of your chest and namaskar once more. Tuck your chin as you honor yourself. Thank yourself for making this time for you today. For filling your mental cup. All of the good juju. If you have any questions or concerns about anything that we did today, please reach out to continue to breathe in that awesome length between those vertebrae throughout your day. Keep that upper body feeling good. Think good thoughts. speak good words, eat good foods, do good deeds. Thank you for coming to share your energy, not just with me, but with each other. Have a beautiful day. Namaste. Namaste.